Hi guys, you're welcome to Halogeneous Ideas. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a simple REST API using Django. We are going to be using the Django REST framework for this tutorial. Let's just get into what we have to do today. I have this folder that I've created for this tutorial. I'll just open this folder in Terminal, then come back to the guide. The first thing we want to do is to set up. So if you want to create a virtual environment on Windows, this is what you do. But for Linux users like myself, I'll just show you right from here. I have virtual env installed already on my device. If you don't have it, just say pip install virtual env and you have it. Then the next thing you want to do is to do virtual env space the name of the virtual environment. So you can do drf no, drf. Let me just have drf, or let me say drf api. So this will create this virtual environment for me. If you check my folder, you see drf api, then I cd into drf api. Then I'll clear my terminal, and if you open drf api, you see what we have over here. So if you open it, you see I have the bin, I have the library and all that. So I'll come to install Django and Django REST framework in that virtual environment I just created. So paste this and install that. Sorry about that. I didn't activate the virtual environment, sorry. So clear, then bin slash activate. So after creating the virtual environment, you have to activate it first before installing all those. So just Ctrl Shift V and it will install Django and Django REST framework for me. Sorry for the oversight. Then after installing this, the next thing I want to do is to create a project and an app. So I'll create the project. The name of the project will be backend. The name of the app will be API. Okay. So I believe for now you know what a project and an app is. So I will just go deep into that. So I'll come here, copy this to create my project backend. So right click and paste. I have my project, and if you check the folder, I have backend over here. So let me cd into backend, then open it in code. So I'm opening it in VS Code right now. Okay, so this is the everything we have done so far. This is it in VS Code. Then I'll go back to the guide and I'll start a new project. I'll start a new app called API. So copy this. You come back to the terminal and be sure that you're in backend. I have backend and manager.py. Let me clear my terminal, then I'll just use this to install the app. So after installing the app, you see I have another folder over here called API. So this is the app basically. Then go back to the guide and we move on to configure our settings. So configuring the settings, you go to this should be backend slash settings.py. Sorry, that's an oversight. So just copy this REST framework. REST framework is coming from the package that you installed. Then API is coming from this app that you just created. So come back here, no, come back here. Then you go to settings.py under backend. Then you scroll down to where we have installed apps. This is the installed apps. Just right click and you paste. So that will be REST framework. Then we have API. The next thing we want to do is to start to work on the app that we created, which is the API app. So we first of all have to create a model. A model stands as the blueprint of the this particular table in the database. This is basically we creating a table called task. Then the fields that will be available under task will be title, completed, and created at. I believe you understand this. So let me just go forward. So come under models, then you paste it. Then after that, you save this, and the next thing we have to create serializers. Now a serializer basically is what stands as the intermediary, how data goes out of the project and how data comes into the project. Okay, if you want to send data out to the user, you pass the data through a serializer to format the data into what will be useful to the user. JSON. Then when you are bringing the data back into Django, it will go through the serializer. The serializer will convert it back to a Django object, something Django can work with. So that is what the serializer is in simple terms. And you will notice that under serializer, the field, I'm taking title, completed, and created at. Now, when you create a Django model, automatically Django will create an ID field. So when this is registered in the database, which I will show you shortly, when this task is registered in the database, you're going to be having ID, title, completed, and created at. Okay, so let me just move on to create serializers.py. Right click, copy, then create a new app. Make sure you are in the app API folder. So serializer.py, then copy the whole of this and paste this. Okay, then the next thing we want to do is to go to the views.py under the app as well. So you copy this under views.py, you come under views.py. Now, if you notice what is happening over here, I'm using generic views. So Django has these generic views inbuilt. These generic views can be used to write with a fewer lines of code. You can achieve a lot. So this view basically can be used to list out or to create tasks. That is what this view can do. Then this other view over here will be used to retrieve updates or destroy the task, delete the task. So that is what this particular view can do. So this particular view is going to be taking the post and the get method. The post method is what you use to create, the get method is what you use to list. Then for this other task, the post method is going to be used to, okay, this has only the get method, so this is the get method for the retrieve action. Then we have the put or the patch for the update action. Then we have delete for the destroy action. So just notice them. So just note them. So moving on to the next one, we are going to be configuring the URLs. So copy the whole of this. This particular URL is what is going to be responsible for the list and the create, while this particular URL will be responsible for the retrieve, update, and the destroy actions. If you see what is happening over here, this is int, the primary key, basically the unique identifier of each task. That's primary key. It will be an integer. It's what you are passing into this particular view, and automatically it will detect it and be able to retrieve that particular singular task. So we copy this and we take it to views dot no urls.py, sorry, urls.py. Then you paste it. Then if you save this, I have to create urls.py for backend, so that because backend is the project, I'll be able to hook this URL into that particular URL. So I've created urls.py over here. Okay, so this has urls.py already. So all I have to do here is just to import include. Okay, then I'll come here and say path, then API, comma, include api.urls, and that is it. And that is it. So if you come here, that is exactly what is happening here, API slash URLs. So when you want to visit this particular views, you will do API slash tasks. Then it will give you the list create endpoint slash task slash whatever is the primary key. We give you the retrieve, update, and destroy action. Okay, so the next thing we have to do now is to migrate our data, so that we are going to be registering this model officially. We are going to be registering it in the database. That is why we have to make our migrations. Then after making the migrations, we'll be able to run our server. So copy the whole of this and come to the terminal. We are in the project, yes. So paste this, make migrations, and you can see it has created a migration for tasks. Then we migrate officially. After we run this particular command, it will create an SQLite DB. Okay, it has created it actually. So now let's migrate. Let's migrate. So paste. Okay, so it will apply all the migrations that we have. These are other migrations available in Django by default. So it will just migrate everything together. So that is it basically. Let me clear my terminal, then run my server. Just Python manage.py run server. And in 10 minutes, in less than 10 minutes, you've created a working API. So now I can run my server. I don't have any errors, so I can begin to um, work on it. So if I go to this particular link, this is localhost as port 8000. Come to the terminal, localhost. This is 127.0.0 then 8000. If I should visit this, I think I have to change the localhost to, okay, it should be API slash tasks. I made a mistake somewhere. It should be API slash, sorry. And in the guide, that mistake wasn't made. In the guide, that mistake wasn't made. So please, just correct it on your hand. So I can reload. Very good, very good. So the reason you are getting this particular interface is because we are using the Django REST framework, okay? We are using the Django REST framework. That's why we are getting this interface. So from here, I can decide to, let me go to the list create. It's supposed to give me the posts. Okay. Okay, very good. Now, if you come under models, you will see that I have title, completed, and created at. Okay, completed is this particular checkbox over here. Then the title is coming from here. Now, this created at date time field auto now add is going to be done automatically in the database. Okay, so if I want to create a task, for example, I can just say teach Python. Is it completed? No. So I'll post it to the database. You can see now I have a particular task in the database, which is teach Python. So teach JavaScript. So have I completed it? Let me tick completed. If I should run this, you see now I have this other one too. Okay. If you check the, you can see get post and post. I've posted two particular data. Okay, I've posted two data. Then I used get the first time I visited the link. All these other ones are just coming from Django REST framework itself. So that is it basically how you can create data. But if you want to get data, I can just click on get. So you can see these are all the tasks that I have in the database at the moment. Okay, I can also do update and delete. So for example, this ID is one. If I want to retrieve, update, or delete this particular task, I'll just come under task slash maybe one because the ID is one. If I do two, it will retrieve teach JavaScript. If I run this, you see it is retrieving the one with the ID of one. If I should do two, it is retrieving the one with the ID of two. Okay, so that is it. I can decide to uncheck this one. Then I will put, don't forget, I will put, this is get is going to be retrieving the data, the singular data. Put is going to be modifying the data. Initially completed was true, but if I should uncheck it now, I have unchecked it. If I should put it, you see completed now is false. Okay, and I also have the option to delete. If I should click on this delete now, I'll be having only, I won't be, this won't exist anymore. So I'll just go back to tasks, for example, and the only thing I have is just the first one. Okay, Django REST framework gives you the flexibility to actually make whatever manipulations to your API, testing it using a nice interface like this one. So going back to the guide, after testing you can also test your API from the command line using call. Okay, I have call installed in my terminal, so I can just copy this. For example, to retrieve all the tasks that we have in the database, let me create two more tasks. So come here, read some books. So let me tick this one as completed and I'll post it. Then let me also do another one. Um, let me say play music. Then let me uncheck this one. Then I'll post again play music. So I'll go back to get. So you see everything I have over here now. The next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using my terminal to query the database, the API for this one. So let me just open another tab. You will just notice what is going to be happening here. So let me come to the guide and copy this, copy, then come back to my terminal. Just notice what will be happening here. Then paste. If I should run this, you can see what I'm getting now. It has queried the database and it is giving me the ID of 1, the ID of 3, and the ID of 4, and it is giving me the data associated with those particular IDs. It is the serializer that is actually formatting this data like this. Okay, the serializer is the one formatting it like this. So if you come back here, you will see I just queried the database. Okay, that is why I have an extra um, line over here. So, and if you want to create a new if you want to create a new task from this particular point using call, for example, you can just come here and use this other one over here where the title is going to be learn drf, completed is going to be false, and this is the endpoint localhost port 8000 then api slash tasks. So let me just copy this, and don't forget it's going to be a post method and the content type is application slash json. So copy this, come back here and paste it, run it, and you see it is returning id 5, learn drf completed is false. Come here and let us see if that works. So come here and run it. If you come, you can see learn drf. I created this one from the terminal. That is to tell you that this api is fully functional. So moving on from the guide, I would want you to go in depth with Django REST framework. I would want you to go in depth. These are some of the things that you will have to learn: file organization, Django models, a bit more info about it. Then you have to learn about JavaScript object notation, writing your first API view, the function-based view and the class-based views, the serializers, and all these other things that you would have to learn here. So the guide is over here. Okay, the guide is over here. So you can open it in new tab. This guide will help you to learn more and more in-depth stuff about Django REST framework. It's a 7-hour course. So just sit down and consume it, and you will learn all that there is to learn about um, Django REST framework. So I'll just leave that out for now. So in under 10 minutes, you've been able to set up your Django and DRF, create a model, made a serializer, so built views using the generic APIs. Then you configure the URLs, you tested the REST API. So that will be all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for staying till the end. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel for more interesting tutorials like this one. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.